Welcome to T Boys TV. We are back again with another hat show. Obviously, episode 292. We obviously getting even closer to that 300 mark, and hopefully, by the time we get to that mark, we're actually, consistent and have type of performances in terms of determination, like the weekend. You know, so yeah, obviously, we'll get into that game. It feels good to actually talk about a win, a pretty convincing win as well. And then obviously we'll get into the game tomorrow. Obviously the games come thick and fast. We'll then have another hat show on Wednesday, which will be the third Wednesday in a row in terms of during the week to obviously preview Exeter. So the games are coming thick and fast. It is that period, but it is another home game for us. And obviously we'll get into that. But Dad, how have you been? You ain't been on the last few ones?
Yeah, all good, mate. Had a good Christmas, good Boxing Day, so all cool. Yeah,
Yeah, thankfully Luton didn't ruin our Boxing Day. Because last year, I mean, I said it going into the game anyway the other day. I couldn't actually remember last year's, and then we did remember it, and it was obviously that game we watched the Bristol City game, which was poor. You know, it was poor from us really. Obviously Twine with a great goal, but yeah, I mean from our end it's poor, and then obviously the ones before have been all right. Obviously, you think of the Sheffield United away game in the Premier League, you think of the Woodrow winner against Norwich, and you think of this game against Wycombe now. Now, going into it, obviously you said a 2-1, Dad, so you did back us to win. As for me, I did say a 1-1 just due to the fact, I did expect a different approach from Wycombe from what we have seen in previous years in terms of, they're known for obviously the time wasting, all them antics, which I expect Leighton Orient to do tomorrow, by the way. Given they've done that in the home game, I expect them to definitely do that away. So, yeah, obviously we'll get into that game and what I feel we have to do going into that game. But yeah, I mean, this game, I mean, yeah, and just with the way we were, we're very inconsistent as we know. I just thought it'd be a draw, but obviously it wasn't to be. As for the formation, again, let's be honest, seeing it, we're skeptical because of what we've seen with them type of players in the last few weeks and throughout the season. So obviously Keeley in goal, that's fine. Longwick right back, obviously that is the right back in a moment. Anderson, Mengi, Johnson. Now, I didn't mind that back four, so to speak, because that is exactly what I went with, bar Anderson. But I was happy to see Johnson in. I felt he deserved to play, especially, like I said, going into the game. Obviously, he set out the expectations and a high hopes that he wants to play in the Champions League. Obviously, not with us. But to me, that tells me you've got to give him a go. You've got to give him a go in League One and let him see what he's about. I mean, he's been in and around the club for a while now, similar to Nelson. And I think Johnson, even though at different positions, I do think Johnson has shown better stuff, to be honest. So, yeah, and then obviously the two in midfield, more deeper ones, was Walsh and Lamine. I'll be honest, at the time, surprised there's no Saville, especially given on his previous game against Reading, the impact he tried to make and obviously had that shot, very unlucky. And then obviously, now the front three I was happy with in terms of, well, the midfield front three, whatever you want to call it. Kadoa on the right has to play there. He's not, I don't want to see him play centrally again. I'd want to see him play on the left or the right because I just feel he's so much more beneficial out wide. Bramall on the left, again, you're going to play him. And Clark through the middle, which you have to do. And then it was Wells up front. And again, let's be honest, when we all see that, we're sceptical because of his performances this season. And then as for the bench, we had Brown, Shaden Morris, Nelson, Hakeem, which was great to see him back, Saville, Shea, and Yates. So in terms of attacking options, you got loads of options there. But again, I mean, I was the only positive, I'll be honest, when I saw that lineup, but it worked, so I can't complain. But when it doesn't work, obviously we can criticise. But looking on it, based on what we have seen, the only thing I was positive to see and happy to see, I guess, was Joe Johnson in. But I mean, the players stepped up and done what they needed to do, especially the ones that quite haven't yet done.
yeah, it's a good lineup, really. I want to see Johnson back in. It's quite notable that obviously Naismith, got a knock or whatever, injured. The Savile, we find that interesting, but actually, we've done all right. So I'm thinking Lamine can do a bit of both, but then he's got that pace to get forward. We need to be more powerful in midfield. So I kind of get that. Clark obviously straight in, Kadu on the right, needed to happen. Bramall's holding that position on the left, so I fully expected that to happen. And then the strikers, yeah, it's going to be Wells, it's going to be Yates, until someone becomes prolific in that area, you know, and it adds a competition or whatever, then that's what it's going to be. It's their experience and stuff. What we talked about, you know, beginning of the season and things like that, ain't quite coming to clutch with the goals. But I think on this occasion, it did work. Wells did play pretty well. You know, got into the pockets of space. He was holding up the play. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, good lineup. And I like we seem to be carrying, you know, that format. Four at the back seems to be set. Two holding midfielders, three, and then one up top. And we seem to be doing that, and it's working. You know, our form's not actually terrible. We've lost one in the last, you know, 6 or whatever it is. We've improved at home now. So this is where, like you say, we need to be consistent. And, you know, the kind of performance that we should be doing against mediocre teams in League One. Let's be honest. You know, yeah, you could say they gifted us a couple of goals. We've gifted goals all season because of teams have been doing that to us, putting us under pressure, etc. But we done it, and it worked for us as well. And we've got the bonus of having technical good players on the ball, if that, you know, to fall back on, you know, if it comes to that. So I think that was like the clock, you know, striking midnight, like a connection there. We finally get this league. We know what we've got to do, and the quality we've got on top of that can help us through games. And that's what you got to do. You know, you got to put. We've seen it all season. Put them under. Put them under. Put them under. Doesn't matter what, you know. So to a certain level, what you've got. If teams are continuing, that's why you see these shocks in the FA Cup and that. You know, a League One team beats a Premier League team, you know, by doing exactly that kind of stuff. So as long as we need to continue working like that and doing that, and let's see where it can take us.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I was saying it myself. Yes, they gifted us goals, but there would have been no other outcome. We would have beat them. They didn't do anything. I mean, in the first half, didn't even have a shot on target. I mean, or let alone a shot. Sorry. So it felt like you know, a lot of our games at the start of the season. And again, Dad, it's like you say, teams have put the pressure on us. They've exploited us, and that's the reason we've lost a lot of games. But you know, obviously, I'm not expecting this type of scoreline every week. But what I will say is, I expect them type of performances every week. You know, the players like Walsh. That's the thing with him. He needs to be consistent. And obviously, we need to be consistent in the thumbnail, and I put Walsh specifically because he is one of them for me. You know, that was a great performance. A lot of people gave him man of the match, which is fair enough. You know, he was definitely right up there, but we need to see this consistency now. And I mean, there was people saying Saville and Walsh doesn't really work. I don't think it was as bad as maybe some people think personally, but I mean, we are getting results without them two playing alongside each other. So, I mean, you know, you just got to be consistent, and that's where he's got to come in and be consistent now. And I don't mind like certain away games if we are to stick with this four at the back, which is looking very likely, given that we don't actually have a right back and we're still doing it. And Longwick's been well, like he's done well to be fair, and now we've got Hakeem back as well. So hopefully, you know, we will see him go there. I know in this game he did go as a centre back, but as the games go on, you know, they can have like a chop and change depending on who we're playing. I think the better teams will need to play Hakeem there personally, but I do think like when we're playing the mid-table sides, lower sides, I think Longwick can work there. But yeah, like I say, like it's an interesting one because you know, away from home, I wouldn't mind if we went like a bit slightly different in terms of like a 4-1-4-1, and then maybe had Saville in his own role. Because I think away from home, he's a player I look at, and I think he's much more beneficial in terms of when we played a better opposition away. I mean, we did play the 4-1-4-1 against Stockport, didn't we? And Saville was in his own role. We ended up winning 3-0. So, you know, there is games like that where I feel he can fill in there, but he's still got to definitely come on in games and try and make an impact for sure right now. Lamine, I mean, it's an interesting one with Lamine because there was good moments in the game. Obviously, the first goal, obviously the pass through to obviously Kadoa. Poor from the goalkeeper, but Kadowas took on the shot. And how many times as fans have we wanted to see players take on the shot? And that's exactly what he did. And from that moment in, I was saying to you, Dad, we need to try and get at their keeper anyway. And obviously he cost them for the second goal. Him and the defender, a bit of a calamity. Another one of them mad moments like the Cornet goal against Reading, I guess, Dad.
Yeah, but that's good, guys. Good. Walsh was fantastic in this game. I can't lie. The more I look at it, the more analysed it, he really was. Set up the first goal, drilled that first pass. Then maybe they should have dealt with it, but they didn't. Lemine had the presence of mind to come on, carry on running instead of shooting, panicking, looking for the pass. And Kadua's got power. You know what I mean? He's got a powerful. Maybe the keeper should have done better, but he drilled it low, powerful. The keeper did get a hand to it. On another day, he might, been able to clear it or whatever. So I don't think that was the worst. Obviously, the keeper got, made two massive errors after that. But this, I don't think this was terrible. And shoot, we score, and we deserved it anyway because we was playing. We was on the attack. We was playing some intricate football at times, and it's good to see. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't care if, like you say, go back to it. If we gift it, they gifted us goals. At the end of the day, we put it on them, and that's what we want to see. We want to see them performance levels. And don't get me wrong, under Wilshere, we have seen it a few times at home. Like I said in the reaction, obviously, Huddersfield at home, we saw it. Bolton at home, we saw it. In terms of that press, that relentless start. But it's just obviously the Bolton game, we didn't quite get a win. Which maybe we were unlucky to, but we didn't. The Huddersfield game, obviously, we did. And a lot of that was down to having shots from distance as well. And I know the Kadara shot was in the box, but in terms of just taking on that shot anyway, I mean, he was looking lively. He was looking really good. Obviously, could have had a hat trick. Obviously, had that chance where, it's nearly went in the top left corner. I mean, if he scored that would have been absolutely mental, to be honest. Like, what a shot that was. And the skill before that. And that's what we want to see our wingers doing. And I felt that's why I wanted to see Ali dropped at the start of the season, because he wasn't doing that enough like he was at the back end of last season and pre-season in terms of just taking on that man. Whereas like when Shaden Morris is on, Kadoa's on, predominantly they'll do it, and that's what we want to see. And obviously he was doing that because we know they've got that pace, especially Morris, to cause havoc. So that's what we want to see. And yeah, I mean, 2-0. Pretty comfortable, to be honest. And like I said on my Instagram at half time, I said that is the best first half home performance we've had this season, because we were just right on them. We were forcing them into mistakes. They, like I said, they didn't even have a shot, let alone a shot on target. So the outcome wouldn't have been any different, right? But what I will say, and what I have said, and what we've both said, is we need to be consistent now. This is the thing. Like if we follow that up, and get a good result tomorrow night, you got to be happy with that. And then obviously you go into quick turnaround again against Exeter, which, I mean, yes, we beat them in a cup 4-0, but I do think it will be a different game. But obviously we'll preview that on Wednesday. And then obviously we go into Doncaster away, who I think have lost their last 4 right now as we speak. So like, if we can get a run going, like you've said a lot over the years, Dad, the faith can be there. But we just need to be consistent. That is the thing. And it goes back to when we beat Stockport. Very happy with that result. But I did say during that match reaction, we need to be consistent. I'm not going to get carried away. And that is the same thing. And especially in a game like tomorrow, I just know how Leyton Orient are going to play. They're going to play similar to how they played in the away game. The away game for us. They're going to be if they're doing all that rolling around at home and all that. I don't care if a team's sticking men behind the ball. I couldn't care less. Teams have to do that. Especially against us. Some teams will have to at home because we've just got a better squad and you'd expect us to be on the front foot. But all that rolling around nonsense, they're going to try all that. Yeah, they're going to frustrate us. So we need to go there and at Kenilworth Road, we need to get an early goal like we did on Saturday. Because if we get an early goal, it also settles the nerves for the fans. So the fans will be right on board like they seemed like they were on Saturday at points. Obviously, I weren't there, so I can't fully comment. And then obviously, it puts them off. It makes them nervous. That's what we need to do, right? And again, we'll get into the lineups and everything in a bit. But I mean, it's going to be interesting in terms of the lineup because obviously, one, we haven't seen the team news, and two, it is a quick turnaround. But then you don't really want to change a winning team. For me personally, especially with a home game, I feel certain players suit better at home, playing at home than away. So it's all interesting, really. But yeah, like I say, 2-0 up, very comfortable. And then going into the second half, we do make some changes a bit later on. Don't really need to make early changes in this game. We take Wells off, who I thought was good in this game. I thought it was one of his better games for us. Yes, he didn't quite get the goal. Nearly got a goal, to be fair. Their keeper saved it. Obviously, a chance he had in the first half. But what I was really impressed with him with is the press. He was getting stuck in. And, the more I think about it, I know I mentioned obviously Clark and him, at times in the Reading game, Clark was higher up, but I think he's being told to do that. But if Wells is actually getting involved like he was, then that's what I want to see. Obviously, I want to see goals as well. But if he can chop and change and him and Yates can have the type of performances they did in this game, for now, obviously, then hopefully we'll have Elijah back and things like that, then that'll be a massive benefit as well. But yeah, I thought he was decent. Obviously, Lamine come off. I'll be honest, other than the assist, I think it was a bit anonymous at times, I've got to be honest. But obviously, Saville come on for him, so like for like change. And that's what I liked in this game as well. Like previous games, we've done changes that haven't really made sense. Whereas these were like for like, they were straightforward and they didn't need to be complicated. So I did also like that. Obviously, we did get a goal shortly after. Jordan Clark couldn't really miss, to be honest. But again, it was poor from Wycombe once again. And yeah, we were exploiting them. I mean, their player who basically passed it to Morris for the fourth goal, I mean, he got away with it another time in the game as well. Could have scored again. But even Shaden Morris, I mean, people saying they want to see him start. Me personally, I want to see him stay as that impact player and have Kadoa, because Shaden Morris has literally got a track record for coming off from the bench and making an impact for Aberdeen. So I want to see him continue to be like that. Obviously, in maybe like the Virtue Trophy, yeah, starting. But in terms of the league games, I want to see him, come on, because he literally got a record for doing that and making an impact, and especially with how quick he is to just try and exploit defenders before the end of a game. I think he can be massively beneficial to that. But yeah, I mean, two more goals in the second half, Dad. Can't complain, can you?
Yeah, again, like Morris come on for the Clark goal. Got the cross in. Yates caused the keeper problems. It wasn't a foul on the keeper. The keeper was clumsy. I think actually in the week before that, he got in team of the week for Wycombe. But anyway, got in the way. And Clark's not going to miss from there. And then the last goal, yeah. But Morris had a hell of a lot to do still. Do you know what I mean? There's still two defenders there and a keeper. It's a really, really good finish, man. He's real quality, man. I remember when he first started playing for us, the commentators were like, it weren't Luton commentators either. It was whoever was playing. And they were saying
it'd have been his debut, wouldn't it?
Yeah, he's got a bit of Raheem Sterling about him. And I do see that. But yeah, you could have said they gifted it, but they didn't really gift that goal either, because he had still a lot to do. Do you know what I mean? It's a poor defensive error, but it wasn't a gift. And
again, it was because of that press.
Yeah, exactly. And if we keep working like that, we've got the players, because that's what teams do in this league, and they've got certain players, and it works. But we've got a whole heap of players. So if we play like that, play intense, chase down and stuff like that, we should start picking up, a lot more consecutive points than we have been. And who knows? We're only 3 points off the playoffs. We've seen it before. Listen, we got the January transfer window around the corner. Sweets come out and said he wants to push for that. Do you know what I mean? Get the players in to try and get promoted. So let's see what happens. Obviously, we know we need right back definitely. Um,
Would you say we need a left back? I know Johnson's coming in, but like, would you say, because I don't know, I just feel it's similar to me personally. I think it's similar to the right where we need someone with experience because we want to play Bramwell higher up and we don't have
Possibly, but
faith in Naismith, do we?
I would go for another attacking midfielder.
We
I don't,
definitely need
I
that as
don't
well.
think we'll sign a striker.
No.
People are calling for it, but I do think that with the quality we have got, um, will be enough. Do you know what
And
I mean?
I think even if we get a striker, it's going to be a replacement for Nordos, so it's not going to be like a regular starter. It's going to be someone who's going to like be young. That's just how I see it, and we might not even use them because, like you say, all the other options, and you've got to remember we got Elijah.
But yeah, we're in a great position, great result, best home performance I've seen for a while, maybe even since
Brighton, probably. Yeah.
Exit was good, but that was in the cup. You know what I mean? Wycombe were on good form, relatively good form. They couldn't play Woodrow, but you know, and I did listen to their manager. He said, "Well, Luton weren't actually that good, but we were good enough to beat you. Whether you gave goals away or not, we were definitely good enough to beat you." And he said it's something about striker, and I was like, hold up, like your best striker is our fucking reject. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was a little bit bitter, but this is what we need to be doing to teams. And what I liked as well, obviously, there's been a lot of talk about the fans need to do this, that, and the other. But Luton's always been, I'll say it all the time, if you work hard and show and put in the performance, that's when the fans are coming. You know what I mean? And that's what happened, particularly in the second half. There was that old school atmosphere, just singing it. Do you know what I mean? The older songs were coming out, the positive stuff. And I weren't sure if we were playing. I thought we was playing away in the next game, but to be playing at home again, it's just got to continue.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep. No, obviously we did the watch along to the away game, didn't we? It was only 2 weeks ago that we played, obviously, Leighton Orient. And yeah, that was an awful game. But hopefully tomorrow now, we can build on it. We can build on Saturday and things like that. But yeah, like going to what you said about like the players giving performances and the fans get aboard. Like I think Kadoa's obviously a massive one of them. Obviously he's come in and got vital goals late on. He's also shown as well he can get early goals as well, obviously, in this game. And for me, he's got to be starting. He's got to be starting, and you've got to keep having Shaden Morris as an impact player for me. Like for like changes, them two in the game. And hopefully when Sire Jones is back as well, you can see him higher. Like I've said loads of times, I don't like seeing him as a right back. I really don't. I think there's moments where he'll get yellow cards. He'll do like silly little things. Like you think of the Stockport game, obviously the penalty given away. So hopefully he could be another option when he's back as well, on that sort of right hand side. So yeah, we'll see what is to come of that. But we'll go through some comments before we get into the player ratings. Big up to Paul. He says, "Evening all. Big up to yourself, Paul, mate. Hope you are well." Harry says, "Evening, lads. Hope you're both well and had a good Christmas." Yeah, it was good. Thanks, mate. Hope yours was good. Hi, Ty doesn't all, says Jackie. Yeah, we was having some technical issues, but obviously we're here. No worries, mate. I hope Nordos gets a chance to come on and say goodbye. That would be good. Can I see it? Is it likely? Probably not. Which is a shame. It is a shame, but yeah, I just don't think it'll happen. I think he won't be in the squad again. Evening all, says Paul. Yeah, I'll see. Oh, hold up. No, I've just read these comments. Why are they coming back again? I don't like Savile and Walsh together, says Jackie. Fair enough. Ben says hello to both us. Yeah, I'm actually all right now, mate. I'm still coughing, but nowhere near to the level that I was. So yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, I think he makes changes because the Leighton Orient game. Yeah, it's a difficult one because like you would obviously you naturally you would say yeah because of the quick turnaround, but I don't think if we make changes, I don't think we should be making major like changes, like in terms of like numbers. It should only be a couple for me, like one or two. I don't think we need to be changing it like loads. But we haven't had team news. I mean, if we had a few players back, that could be beneficial. Like Jones, possibly. Um, maybe Waters, things like that. But yeah, we haven't seen anything. So Ben also says, and I'm so glad we got the high press, and when their players had the ball, it was great to see our boys on them. Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. Totally agree. Um, yeah, 100%. But if we can show the consistency like the other day, then you got to have faith and belief in the new players, really, or the players from this season, the ones that are in the current squad. And let's be honest, I mean, other than Nordos and Makoso, most likely, who else are we really gutted to probably lose? I mean, in terms of ones that are nailed on to most likely leave. Obviously, if like I don't know, rumours coming about like Lamine or someone like that, yeah. But I'm on about players that are most likely that haven't really been involved in the squad, haven't really been coming on. Do you know what I mean? It's interesting there. But yeah, in terms of the player ratings, let's just get into the player ratings for this game. So obviously, Keeley in goal, another clean sheet for him. Didn't really have anything to do, to be honest. But when he was called upon, which wasn't a lot, he done all right, I guess. So I'll just give him a 7.
Just give him 6.5.
Yeah, fair enough. Do get involved as well. Jackie says I would stick with the same team. Yeah. Obviously, we'll get into our lineups, but I think it's difficult to not. Like I know it's a quick turnaround, but again, it's that saying, isn't it, Dad? You can't really change a winning team as well. And again, like I said earlier, I think a lot of players are more beneficial to certain games. Like I think Savile, I think a 4-1-4-1 could work away from home with Savile in that one. That's just my personal opinion. Paul says Keeley 7. Harry, interesting question here. Do you think Ali might be sold or loaned out? I don't think any of them, mate. There was rumours. I don't know what players specifically, but Wilshere did say a few players actually had COVID. That's why they weren't in the squad. I know one of them. Well, most likely, judging that he has been in the squad but he hasn't played, is Makoso. Obviously, he wasn't even on the bench, so I think he's one. Nordos could be one. Nah, I don't think Ali will be. I mean, Ali has a YouTube channel and he released like this video the other day of seeing fans. Pretty good video, to be fair. And yeah, I just like just some of the like just the way he was. I think he'll stay. Do you know? It's hard to explain. You'd have to watch it to know what I mean. But yeah, I think he'll stay, mate. If he was still on form like he was towards the back end of last season and pre-season, then I believe he'd have clubs looking at him. Because again, like we said in that Southend game, Dad, we thought he was going to be the one for us this season. I actually said, and this was before we got strikers in, he would be our top scorer. Obviously, right now it's not actually in. So yeah, Keeley 6.5. Keeley 7 says Jackie. Moving on we'll go over to Longwick. Again, not a terrible game there. Given it's not his position, I'll just give him a 6.5.
Yeah, same solid. The way we played, he didn't get affected. We know he could probably get exposed against certain players and better teams, but as it is, fine, 6.5.
Yeah, exactly that. Paul says 7.5. Ben's gone with a 7. Moving on we'll go over to Anderson. Better game from him, and I'll be honest, I have said if he's not winning the ball aerially or man marking the player tight, I don't really know what he brings. But the other elements of the game, which I think he's a little bit weaker at in terms of, when you're comparing him to like Mengi and certain things in games, I thought he was actually all right. To be fair to him, obviously it was his birthday yesterday as well, so at least he got a birthday present early, I guess. And yeah, he's probably warranted to start again. To be quite honest with you, for the game tomorrow. So yeah, I'll give him a. Do you know what? I was really impressed with him actually. I'll give him a 7.5.
Yeah, I agree. Winning the headers, we know he does that all day long, but some of his passes really really good. Do you know what I mean? He's always looking for that forward pass. He just needs to work on his positioning sometimes, but generally he's pretty good. So yeah, I'll give him 7.5.
And that's the thing that's more beneficial for defenders like him that don't have like the most amount of pace. As long as they're marking right, that's beneficial. Like Lockyer, the season we went up, that's what he was really good at. He didn't have the pace, but he would just deal with players well as obviously bring that leadership. So, yep, totally agree there. Anderson 7 says Ben. Jackie says Longwick 7. Moving over to, we'll go over to John. No, we'll go over to Mengi actually before we go to Johnson. I thought he was good again. Very similar performance to the Stockport game. The only reason that I said in the match reaction the Stockport game I felt was better was because there was one tackle he done, which was like really, really good. But again, both the performances were immense. Like I've said, under Wilshere, he has showed that determination to want to play for the club. And even if this is his last couple of games, he puts in these performances. I don't care if he goes. You know, obviously, yes, I think he is our best centre back. But in terms of, you know, showing their effort levels, then going higher up to benefit his career, I can't blame him if he's, you know, playing like this because there is a good player there. Hence why Burnley have continuously been linked with him, Premier League club. So yeah, for me, I'll give him. Do you know what? I'll give him an 8.
Yeah, I'll give him 8. I thought he was really good. He had a lot of the ball, no nonsense, defending at times, just booting it away. Trying them long passes. Look really good. He's looking much better the more Mengi that we're used to seeing. So yeah, 8.
Yeah. Paul went with the same here. Other ratings, 7.5 says Ben. Jackie's gone with a 7. Moving on to Johnson. I thought he was decent, to be honest, given, you got to remember, he's played lack of game time. I mean, he's played 2 cup games, and then the times he played before that were pre-season. So, he's played lack of minutes, and I thought he was decent, given that. So I'll give him, do you know what? I'll give him a 7.
I'll give him a 6.5. I thought he was decent, but you could see he was rusty at times because everyone else was pretty much on it. But yeah, I still felt comfortable him playing in that position over Naismith. 6.5.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, going into the game, I actually put him in the starting 11. I did want to see him in this game and still have Bramwell further forward, which we did do. 7 says Paul. Other ratings are 7.5 for Johnson. Jackie's gone with 7 for Johnson as well. Moving on to Walsh. Again, he got man of the match from a lot of people. Obviously, didn't quite get it in the ground. But again, really good performance. So, can't blame people for saying that. As for him, I'll give him slightly higher than Mengi. I'll give him at 8.5.
I'll give him an 8. I thought he was excellent in this game. Always looking for the passes, which, when we needed to play it short, he was there. He was coming back in defence. Really, really overall good game from him. So yeah, I'm going to and then took the captain's armband as well. So I'm going to give him an 8.
Yep. No, obviously he's done that, I think, twice now. 2 games. Obviously had the armband during the games. Barry, big up to yourself, mate. He says 8 for Walsh, which is, again, fair enough. Ben says 8.5. So does Paul as well. And Jackie's also gone with an 8. Then moving on to Lamine. Like I say, good assist for the first goal. Other than that, not quite a standout, but still all right. So I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7. Just, he's been asked to play in that position, isn't it? And we've seen him play further forward and do really well, which Onano likes to do that. He wants to get shot off. He's not really used to be doing. I know he's done it before in other teams and stuff, but I think he's a box to box for me. But he's still done all right, so I'll give him a 7.
Yeah. No, I agree. Lamine 8 says Ben. 7.5 says Paul. Walsh 8. Oh yeah, I read that one, didn't I? Big up to yourself, mate. I might be the unlucky charm. I'm a season ticket holder He's been to half of the away games, and last league win I saw was Wigan, which was obviously that game where Saville scored, wasn't it? So yeah, I mean there was a start. I haven't been to many games this year, but there was a stage where I think it was until we went to the Port Vale game, Dad, where every game I went to, we actually won. So I'm still unbeaten, I guess, in terms of when I go. But yeah, thankfully we played well. But it's the consistency we want to see, and it does go to the comment here, which I nearly forgot. Zero Nightlight says the thing is, we've been here before where we get a decent result, and the next few games fall apart and play crap. Just want a bit of solid consistency. Yeah, exactly. We were saying that right at the start of the stream, and that's exactly what we want to see, mate. Because if we see that, which we know we can see, then we'll start to believe, that we can definitely get in the playoffs at least, and try and do something in them. So yeah, still need a few other areas to fill, especially the fullback side. Like I said, obviously creative midfielder as well. Like you said, Dad, I said it last episode as well. And yeah, maybe somewhere else. I think maybe like another option at CDM, because I'm not too sure what we're really trying to do with Lamine. I'm not sure if we want to play him higher or in this role. And then Saville obviously is, been in and out of the team. And obviously Nakamba's going to go, probably not in January, but he will go at the end of the season because obviously he's out in AFCON, so I can't see him going then. So, yeah, let's see. But yeah, Lamine 6, 7 says Jackie. Moving on to, we'll go over to Bramall. We'll start off with Bramall first. Again, I thought it was a decent game from him. So yeah, I'll give him a 6.5. It was all right.
Yeah, I'll give him. He wasn't as effective as he has been, but other players were. Do you know what I mean? So he's taking advantage of that.
But, and we weren't utilising just his side.
Yeah,
changing it up.
It's good to see, But we've got ammunition on the both. You know what I mean? So if we can switch it up and they're both firing, excellent. But yeah, 6.5.
Yeah, exactly. I agree there. 7.5 says Ben. Moving on to, we'll go over to Clark. Obviously got the goal. Very good performance again. Much better in that central role. And I've always said it. I want to see him higher up. I feel when he's, for example, where Walsh is, he's not quite as effective. He still tries, but it's just not the same Clark for me. So yeah, for me, he was good again. I'll give him an 8.
I'll give him 8. Excellent. You're right. We want to see him in that position. He's making the runs forward, almost like a second striker at times, which was talked about and it was sniffed at. But if it's coming from this position, it works. It fucking definitely works. So yeah, be looking to keep that. Clark hasn't, he's been injured, so he's still getting up to fitness. So I expect him, Johnson, to start the next game definitely. But yeah, 8.
Yeah. Bramall 7 says Jackie. Clark 9 says Ben. 9.5. So good. Yeah, I just think he's so consistent, and that's why we love to see him as fans, because he's just so consistent. Like I say, even if he is playing deeper, I don't like it personally, because I feel you're taking away his attacking, ability and what he can bring. But he'll still try. He'll still try and win them headers and things like that. So yeah.
And also,
go on.
He was captain for the start of this game too. He come off obviously, and he was really good. He was really good. You could see him giving directions and it just worked. It was like the old Luton. So it'd be interesting to see what happens going forward. But yeah, I want him to be captain next game. The first game was poor. I think that was when he come on in that game later on.
The Leighton Orient game, yeah. Come on. Do you remember he hit the post straight away, and then that spurred us on to eventually get the equaliser?
So yeah, fundamental that he starts in this game, I think, as captain as well. But,
yeah. And I also think, not that I think he should be starting, but if he weren't injured, but also the fact Naismith's definitely out. He's the one, isn't he? The other captain. So yeah, he'll definitely start for sure. So yeah, Jordan 8 says Jackie. Moving on to Kadawa, obviously on the right hand side. He is Moran in a match. You know, he got a brace, could have got a hat trick, very unlucky. And yeah, again, like I said earlier, he's showing that he's not just getting late vital goals, he's now getting early ones. And he's got to start, he's got to keep starting there. And I think when the half went on, he moved to the left side as well. Had a shot that went over in the second half, not too bad as well. So he could have had four, you know, if he really wanted to. Very unlucky. And yeah, man of the match for me. Obviously, he got it at the stadium. So yeah, I'll give him a 9.
8.5 man of the match. You know, that first shot talks about powerful. Maybe the keeper, he still got a hand to it. The second one, the pressure. You know, and still obviously finished it. Could have had a couple of shots, like I say, it could have had a hat trick. It was just a menace. They couldn't cope with him at all. And that's where he needs to be. And if we, you know, we need properly, he could play in the championship definitely as well. We need to be, hopefully, whatever this deal is. But they were both obligations to buy him and Longwick. So, you know, for me, that means whatever happens, even if you stay in League One, you got to buy them and pay their wages what they want. You know what I mean? And I'll be doing that. So yeah, man of the match 8.5.
And also, Wycombe's his former club, so it's always good to see a player do well against a former club as well. You know, and show why. We got him really. But yeah, he's been doing this anyway. It's not a one-time thing. Like, he's been getting these goals and he's up there in the goal scorer. So yeah, for me, you got to continue to start him on the right, and then you can move into left on games. But I just think centrally it just doesn't work with him. He's got to be out wide. He's got to be getting on the ball, trying to cause havoc, run at defenders, things like that. Ben says 8.5. Paul says 8. Jackie also says an 8. And then, yeah, moving on we'll go over to Wells, obviously last player out starting 11. I actually thought he was good. It's probably one of his best games for us, if not his best game. Yes, I know he didn't get a goal or a goal, but he had that shot, good save from their keeper, the only save he actually done in the game, I think. And he was getting stuck in. You know, he was getting stuck in, and that's what we want to see from him. You know, that is that obviously the goals as well. But like, if we can see him getting stuck in like Walsh was, like Clark was, you know, then fans will start to get on board with him. I mean, I always go back to that Paul Vale game. He was jogging, but this game, relentless press at times, and he done well. You know, unlucky not to score. So yeah, Wells was decent in this game. So I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, I agree. I'll give him a 7. He worked hard, like you said. Maybe he's picked up on what we said, but he was working hard. Yeah, that was a good shot. Link up play, you know, yeah, decent performance. 7.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Jackie says here, 7, much better. Exactly. Wells 7 as well. Paul's gone 6.5, which again is fair enough. It's better than what we've predominantly given him, let's be honest. And then moving on to the subs, Yates. I thought he was all right. Obviously, he had a part to play on the third goal. But I think I don't like in terms of like still starting. Like, I think Wells should start over him right now in terms of them two. I think Wells done slightly more when he played in this game. But Yates was all right, so I'll give Yates a 6.5.
I'll give him a 7. I thought you know that he was quite influential in that goal. You know, I think he's got a better passing ability than Wells. A little bit more pace, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him start tomorrow. Instead, being the fact that Wells has not long come back from injury, just to freshen it up a little bit. But yeah, I thought he was decent. I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, like it's one of them where, for me, like I say, don't want to change a winning team, but I do expect 1 or 2 changes. If I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't personally, but you know, I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe, and I agree. I think he is better at passing it. Like, I think in terms of like the overall games out of them two, I think Yates has done slightly more. But yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what we do. Yates 7.5, says Ben. Paul says 6.5. Jackie says 6. Moving on to Savile. Again, he was all right in the game. Not quite as impactful as the other game, but then again, did he really need to be? You know, there we're trying to get an equaliser. This game, we were comfortable, really. So, Savile, I'll just give a 6.5.
Yeah, 6.5. Just come on and just shored up the, this is what he's talking about before. When we're cruising or when we're playing well, we were talking about the subs just coming on and doing what they needed to do. You know what I mean? Defend and da da da. And we haven't had that for ages, have we? It's been like, yeah, they've been crap or one of them's done something. But yeah, 6.5. Same with Hakeem, 6.5. And then
Yeah, and he actually went into centre back, which I believe is the first time we've seen him in centre back.
Morris, I'll give a 7.5 because he's come come on,
Scored.
And scored. Yeah,
yeah.
And he had a lot to do.
And then Nelson, I'll just give a 6 because game was done really. Well, done anyway. For me, it was done in the first half as long as we kept doing what we were doing, which we did. So, yeah, I mean, overall, it's a great win. It's the best win of the season, I would say. And now we've just got to be consistent. You know, if we can, like I say, if we can get a result against Leighton Orient tomorrow, I mean, the fans will be right on board, and everyone that is going to Exeter on Thursday, it's mad this quick turnaround. And some of the games, like the schedule is mad. Like, I think even the travelling. So we've got to go to the other side of the south for Thursday, and then we've got to go all the way up to Doncaster on the. I think it's actually on Sunday. It's just mad. It's just absolutely mad to me. It's like it'd make more sense if we had Exeter tomorrow away, and then you have the home game on Thursday. Do you know what I mean? It's just it's mental how they do that. I think, but other teams have it as well, so it is what it is. But yeah, like I say, if we can get a result tomorrow, obviously try and beat Exeter, but I just think it would be a different game. And then, beat Doncaster, like, shocking form at the moment. I mean, we'll have a lot of belief then.
Since we played them, I think that's happened.
Yeah. It is. It actually is. I said that the other day to, a few of my mates. I said that the other day. It's literally as soon as we played them, they dropped off. And don't get me wrong, they had some chances in that game, but they didn't do anything with them. And that's when the one game Makoso did have good in right back. And then we thought it'd maybe work, but it didn't. But yeah, I mean, great performance. Like, there'd have been no other outcome. Yeah, even if Wycombe were not so great, there'd have been no other outcome. We'd have beat them. We'd have beat them because we're all over them. Like I say, I didn't have a shot in the first half. So yeah, I don't want to hear it, but I can understand when people say they want to see the consistency. That is what I've been banging on about, even when we beat Stockport. Harry says, please beat Exeter and Doncaster Luton. Basically, he's saying that because it helps Burton. So, yeah, we shall see. Excuse me. But yeah, I mean, man of the match, Kadoa. So again, he's now on 3 votes. Believe it or not, Dad, you wouldn't think it, but he only had 1 vote from us before that, based on his late vital goals and all that. You wouldn't think that. Yeah. But yeah, as for the points, just going to read them out. I'm not going to read the scores. So I'm on 12. Dad, you gained your first point in, I don't actually know how long. So you're on 7. Jackie, you're on 14. Rich, you're on 9. Paul is also on 14. So you guys are joint top, by the way. Stephen's on 13. Tom's on 1. Phil's on 8. Andy's on 2. Darth Vader's on 13. Ben, you're on 11. Terry, you're on 9. Dave's on 7. Blitz is on 6. Chat GPT is on 7. Jamie's on 10. Harry, you're on 1. Lewis, you're on 3. And then Ryan, who also joined, obviously, is in the streams. Sometimes is on 0 because he did say a draw and he's only just joined. So, like Harry and Lewis, they only just joined a few weeks ago. So, yeah, that's why they're a bit lower in terms of the points. But yeah, there we go with that. Ben says men in the match, I reckon. Yeah, it could be. It could very much be. But yeah, I've said Kadoa for the game. But yeah, moving on to the game tomorrow. Obviously taking on Leighton Orient. Horrible game last time out, wasn't it, Dad? Obviously the watch long we did. It was not a great watch from either side, was it?
No, it weren't. But I expect different this time. We've got an excellent record against them overall. And at home after that last game, we should be putting them to bed. If they ain't great, um, and Keely will be well up for this as well. Which I think we should. This is what we should be doing. So I expect another good performance from us.
Yep, I agree. And yeah, like I've been banging on about since the match reaction, and I said it there, I'll say it again here. We need to get an early goal in this game. And I'm not saying that because we did that in the last game. I'm saying it because the way Leighton Orient, like I'll be honest, right? Start of the season, I'd have said there would be a team that'd be in and around the playoff conversation, maybe not get it. But the way they were playing, with all due respect, I'd expect Port Vale or someone like that to play like that, at their place against us, or a team that's right down there. All that rolling around crap. I don't care if teams play defensive. I get that. They have to because they can't, if you go at certain teams. But Leighton Orient, I mean, their ambitions are to go in the playoffs. They were going to playoffs playing like that at home against us. That was shocking, man. And so I watched, obviously, what Wellings had to say going into it. Ballard, by the way, you are chatting rubbish, mate. He's like, we were very unlucky not to win the game. Are you having a laugh? No team deserved to win that game. We were awful until Clark come on. Let's be honest, and they were awful. All that rolling. I get their player got injured, and that was bad. Karoma, I think it was. But other than that, all that rolling around crap, mate. I see that in the Premier League. What are you doing? You are not going up playing that type of football. I'm sorry. Yeah, and some of their expectations is mad. I get there in the playoffs last year, but yeah, nothing against their fans. I actually like their stadium. I like their, most of their fans I spoke to, but some of the stuff their players and that come out and say, I mean, chatting absolute rubbish, mate. That was a shit game. No team deserves to win it. Just be real. Stop lying. Yeah, but anyway, we need to get an early goal. For me, we need to be playing Kadoa again. Like I said, Shaden Morris literally got a track record for coming on and doing things. So if we don't quite manage to get an early goal, then, we can bring him on. But I think Kadoa has to play this game. Obviously, Clark has to play this game. And we need to get an early goal because it will panic them, because they've been pretty poor their games really since us. I'd say they haven't been great. Obviously, they beat Bradford, which was good for them. But, I mean, they obviously lost on the weekend, right at the end, had chances to win the game, didn't. So, to me, that tells me they missed big chances. Obviously, lost to Barnsley, which I know we did, but still, they lost there. That's a loss. So, they've only won one, which was probably against the hardest team. But I think we can go at them. We only played them 2 weeks ago. I don't expect much of a change from them. And they keep saying that about Arsenal. I don't expect much of a change in that. To me, it seems like they've just brushed over the Wycombe game and just thought, oh, yeah, Wycombe were poor. We'll see. I'm up for this game. We need to get an early goal. We need to go at them, and we need to show why we're the better team. Yeah, I don't think I've been up for a game this much. Like, even Stevenage, I should be, because, Stevenage, they're like the little brother that's always piping up. But I wasn't because the predicament we're in. But now we need to be consistent and we need to go at them and we need to win the game. We need to get an early goal and play how we played the other day, because the way they think we're going to be going into this game is crazy. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy to me. So let's go at them. But yeah, let's go through some comments. Oh, some of the stuff they're saying was crazy. Happy says Jackie, obviously on the game. Yep, 100%. Obviously the previous game. Yeah, exactly. Obviously, me and Harry went obviously a few years ago as well when Luton were in the Prem to Leighton Orient away, and yes, I know they got key players out, but Burton come back and obviously beat them, which they thoroughly deserved. But even things they do, I think they still have it now. There's a bit of an egotistical side of some of their players. I'll be honest, just the way they come across. Last time I was listening to Ballard's interview, it's on their YouTube. Just the way he was coming across, I'm thinking, mate, relax yourself, mate. You got 10 goals, yeah, cool. You've got 10 goals, but let's see where that progresses you. He's like, I took the inspiration from Kelman. I'm not being funny. Kelman's gone to Charlton and done nothing. So I don't think you'll be the same. You'll go higher up and you won't do nothing, mate. Yeah, because I think you're worse. But Yeah, I mean, oh, it's just so annoying the way they were coming across in this. I'll be honest. Yeah, I mean, oh, well. By the way, and I said it on a recent that show, we have to beat Stevenage. We have to be beating them in that other game. I don't care where they are. We got to be beating them. But yeah, sorry, it just annoyed me. Like honestly, if you watch it, you probably feel the way I felt, to be honest. But yeah, in terms of the lineup for this game, like I've said, and we have agreed this week, in terms of the same lineup, and obviously we've hinted at it in terms of the same lineup that we went with on Saturday. And again, I know you don't really like. I know it's a quick turnaround, but at the same time, like I say, you don't really want to change a winning team for me. Um, and for me, we've got to, go into this game and stick with what worked. I feel in this game. So let me just share my screen. Obviously, we know what the lineup was anyway, but just in case anybody forgot, I'll still get it up anyway. So yeah, let me just. There we go. So obviously, Keeley in goal, like you say. Hopefully, he's gonna be up for this game. I mean, the last game, against them, he didn't do anything wrong. Obviously, it was Naismith, absolute shambles. So yeah, Keeley in goal. And also, Keeley is, despite us like knowing we haven't played well in a lot of games this season, Keeley is up there in the clean sheets. So that massive credit to him. And hopefully, if he does get called upon, he's right on it, which I think he's got a high chance of being like that. But yeah, Longwick right back. Maybe we could see Hakeem there, but I think the fact we saw him as a centre back tells me, come on as a centre back, tells me we'll probably see him in that role, whether he starts there or not. Anderson, I feel he deserves to start again. Um, yeah. I mean, from memory, I don't think he was terrible against Leighton Orient last game. Obviously, he come on, I believe. But yeah, I mean, yeah, he was decent last game. Mengi, obviously, been our best centre back. No question about that. Johnson, I would stick with him again. And then Lamine and Walsh. Walsh hopefully can have a performance like he did. And to be fair, against Leighton Orient last time round, I don't think he was terrible. Obviously, he had the shot which led to the corner, which we then scored from, which he took as well. I mean, his deliveries before weren't great, I'll be honest, in that game, but the vital one counted. So you got to give him credit. And he did have the shot. Bramall, we want to see him higher up still. Wilshere wants to see him higher up, so I expect him to be there. Kadoa, like I say, I'd like to see Shaden Morris come on, like for him. Clark through the middle, it's got to be done. And then Wells up front. I would go Wells personally. Just because, like I say, I felt he done slightly more than Yates the other day. Obviously had the shot, which was unlucky. But if it is Yates and he plays how he did the other day, which I don't think was bad, then, we'll take it. But anything you'd like to add, Dad?
No, that's it. I'd stick with the same. Maybe, like you say, you could see Hakeem starting, maybe Saville instead of Lamine or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Yates. But generally, you've got to stick with the majority of that team in that formation, and I believe they'll get the result.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like if we was away, like I'd say, I'd like to see like a 4-1-4-1, like we did at Stockport, who, are a better side, and it worked. So yeah, that's how I see. Other comments. Ben says definitely Tyler. That's the side I'd put out. Exactly. Can't really change a winning team. Well, one or two changes at most. I don't really want to see any more, if I'm going to be honest. Next best thing, two up front and a high pressing side. Yeah, I don't think we'll see two up front until Elijah's back, probably. Because he's got to be in the squad, whether he starts or obviously we don't expect him to start straight away. But I think when we have him back, we'll see it, maybe. And we might actually go with what Wilshere played when he was at Arsenal, which was like a 4-3-3, because we definitely got the players to do that. So yeah, we'll see. But right now, we'll expect to see the 4-2-3-1. And I'd like to see the 4-1-4-1 away, like I say. Yates or Wells up front, yeah, obviously be one of them. It's just who. But yeah, I mean, we are unbeaten in the last 6 now against Leighton Orient. It was obviously 5. And we are obviously back at home in terms of obviously at our place now, only played them recently. You feeling confident, Dad, we can follow up and get a win?
Yeah, 100%. I do feel like this is the turning point. There was a trigger of it earlier, but it didn't quite work out. But I see a lot in that performance and that squad and the way we were playing. It was like a click moment. So I do think we can carry that on. Yeah, so I'm confident I'm going to go for a 2-0 Luton win.
Ooh, clean sheet. That's actually what Mike said in the fan cams the other day. He said 2-0 when David asked him. As for me, I'm going to go 1-0. I do think it will be that type of performance where we have to grind it out. But like I've said, I think we need an early goal because the way they approached the other game, only a couple of weeks ago, I think they're going to try something similar in this game as well in terms of all that rolling around, time wasting nonsense. I don't like to see that. Don't mind when teams, play defensively because some teams have to. But a team that wants to get in the playoffs, so negative to see. So yeah, I'm going to say 1-0. We need to get an early goal. That's how I see it. So that's my prediction for this game. As for other predictions, 2-0, says Paul. He's gone, obviously, Clark and Lamine. Lamine would be good because he has scored. Well, I was about to say has scored in the midweek. Basically, could say he did against Huddersfield, basically at home. But yeah, as for other predictions, some people did put their predictions earlier. Ben's gone very emphatic. I mean, I'd love this, mate. 5-0. I'd absolutely love that, mate. Harry's gone 2-1 to us. He says Ballard to score. I hope not, after the way he was chatting. And Clark and Yates to score for the Hatters. Yeah, Yates would be decent for confidence, hopefully. Then again, I've said that a lot. But Clark's quite likely. I mean, he nearly did in the reverse game. He was the reason we actually got the confidence and belief to go on and get a draw out of that game. So yeah, there we go. Jackie's gone 3-1. Depends what team we play. Jordan, Clark, Dara, and Morris. Yeah, that's good 3 options. And that would be very nice as well. And Spencer, big up to Spencer in the chat. He's gone 2-1 to Luton. So we've actually all gone with Luton. Hopefully, we can actually be consistent and do that. But your goal scorers, Dad?
I'm going to go Clark and Lamine as well.
Okay, I'm going to go... Do you know what? I will go Clark. I was going to go Kadoa again, but I will go Clark because he got very unlucky in the last game against these lot not scoring. So I think he will. And do you know what? I'll say Kadoa assist. I'll even go with an assist for this game. And then Chat GPT, of course, has said 2-1 Luton. I think that's Chat GPT's favourite prediction throughout the season. So, yeah, absolutely lovely jubbly. Hopefully, it is a win. But yeah, any final things, Dad, you want to say before we wrap up?
Looking forward to it. It should be a good game, and let's continue what we've done before.
Yeah, and hopefully it's not like the last game against them because that was god awful, and that was only 2 weeks ago. So yeah, but yeah, as for the game, we will be doing a watch along. So hopefully it's much better than the last time. Hopefully we can witness a win and go into that extra game, which again it's mad how these games are coming thick and fast, obviously on Thursday, so we'll probably have another watch along for that as well. James has said 3-1 to Luton, Clark, Doa, and Lamine to score as well. So yeah, obviously we'll have the watch along. Obviously, I have the match reaction for myself as well, and then obviously we'll have the Hat Show on Wednesday to talk about this game, then preview the extra game, and yeah, like I say, I believe the Doncaster game's on Sunday, so we'll. I don't know when we'll do it yet, on the Friday or the Saturday, but we'll do it one of the days. And we'll let you guys know nearer the time. So yeah, big up to everyone that's obviously tuned into this. Don't forget to smash a like, subscribe, follow me across all my socials. Do subscribe to the Extra channel. And yeah, until tomorrow, we will see you guys in a bit. Last load of comments. As always, come on, you Hatters. Absolutely, mate. Take care of yourself, mate. Yeah, absolutely, Ben, mate. So, yeah, big up to everyone. Until then, take care and peace. Come on, Luton.